Hi, I can't believe you're back. Take a seat. Let's get started.
All right. Right down here, I've got my oil pressure switch all hooked up. You guys saw me do that, and you saw me get it all set, whatever, in place. I'm actually going to take it out and switch it places with this. I've decided I want my copper tubing that's going to run from this up to my gauge to actually run from here so it's vertical, because I don't care if the wire gets kinked. I do care if the copper line gets kinked that will run up to the gauge. If you remember, I talked about an adapter that would fit my oil pressure sensor. Sorry about that. My oil pressure sensor here. And this, if you remember, is 1/8 inch NPT. So I told you I had an adapter for that. So this adapter goes 1/8 inch NPT on the inside and 1/4 inch NPT on the outside. This one is not marked specifically, so you can't see any like obvious indicator of that. However, I did test fit it before I started, and so they thread on nice together like that. There we go. I do have an adapter I can show you, which shows written on the top. Maybe this other one does. Nope, it doesn't either. Sometimes written on this ring right here, so not on the actual piece but down here on this ring on the top of this face. Sometimes it'll have either embossed or engraved or something along those lines. It'll have the size it's made for. Like I said, you can't really see, there's nothing on this one to show, but on other ones there is. So most of what I'm doing is just putting in this copper line right here to the firewall. I had a little grommet that goes through the firewall and it slips over this, so I'm going to use just a little bit of light lithium grease that I have and lube the grommet up just a little bit to give it a little easier push through, and that way it won't just grab onto the copper tubing and pull it with it. It might take a lot. I've never really done this before, but I figure what doesn't need lube in this world? So, white lithium grease, here I come. have a wrist pin out of a piston, and I like using this for my bends because it gives me a nice clean bend on this copper material. And you do have to be careful so it doesn't pinch it flat, but I'm not like pulling on it really hard. I'm not like, you know, forcing it apart. I'm basically just holding here and then creating my bend off the other side. So let me find my little kit really quick and I'll get that inserted here, put that up to here, and then we want to come across this somewhere, maybe zip tie it in with the rest of this stuff, maybe run it inside of this loom like with this wire right here. I don't know yet, not sure how I want that to look yet. Alright, there you go. Maybe now you can watch me fret around looking for pieces and parts that I don't know if I have in here. I kept my carburetor kit just in case I needed something out of that eventually. Here's my old... So this is the old piece that came out of the truck. This is what I ran for the other motor. So if absolutely necessary, I could maybe use that, probably not. You never know if you're going to need extra copper line. And look, if you look right there, if you look right there, you can see I pinched that off, so I'm gonna have to cut that and do something about that later. But extra line, yay! So there's my oil pressure gauge. I really actually like this one. In the other motor, I was running anywhere between 25 and 50 psi, depending on the day and the temperature outside. There's my coolant temp sensor. Coolant temp sensor. And I really like these gauges. I think they're really nice when they get all lit up. They have a light in the back. They have a light in the back. That's where my oil pressure goes in. And then that's the other part of the light. I just hooked them together because they'll be sitting in the truck like this. They might be over here more like this. I don't know. One side or the other. Okay, so that's it. That's the oil line run for my actual oil gauge. I don't have the gauge in yet, but I'm working on a cluster for it. I'm gonna weld a little square bracket and put a couple of holes in it. And I'm gonna include my switch that goes for my map light overhead. I had it hooked up that way before. I'm gonna have it hooked up that way again. At least that's my plan with this. So yeah, we got the oil line run into the cab. I'm gonna leave it coiled up for now. I don't know how long I need it, and I don't know how long I need it to be after I cut it, and where all of that's gonna fall, so I don't wanna mess with that.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on Iron Horse History.